Sawadee Kap. Welcome to Break Time with Monte. Today's story, El Nino, starting to bite in Asia. Drought from El Nino will cut Thailand's main rice harvest to the lowest in 9 years. Weather patterns in the next 2 months will determine how much damage it does. The rice crop shrinks, soybeans, wheat, palm, down. Drought linked to weather pattern called El Nino will cut Thailand's main rice harvest to the lowest in 9 years. Soybeans sown in the past 2 weeks in India may be pulled out of the ground without immediate rain, and the outlook is dowdy for Asian palm oil. Australia's wheat crop may decline. El Nino risks disrupting harvests worldwide by reducing rainfall in Australia and altering patterns across South America, as well as baking parts of Asia. Central Thailand is the driest in more than 20 years, and India's monsoon is heading for the first back-to-back shortfall in 3 decades. The inflation-boosting effect of the first El Nino since 2010 also poses a risk to the global economy, Citigroup Incorporated says. A price spike could be caused by the strengthening of El Nino and worsening of rainfall, says Wayne Gordon, an analyst at UBS Group AG in Singapore, referring to a possible price spike in food costs. Weather patterns in the next 2 months will be critical, he said. El Nino is set to last until 2016, and some data patterns are similar to the record 1997-1998 event, according to weather forecasters in Australia and the U.S. The event is a risk for grains in Asia and Central America, and global rice output will be less than previously forecast. The United Nations predicts smaller crops in Asia may help arrest the decline in world food prices that last month reached an almost 6-year low amid ample global supply, according to a UN index. Rice, the staple for half the world, sank to the lowest price since 2006 in May. Wheat fell to an almost 5-year trough the same month. Now, drought, typhoons, weather disruptions linked to El Nino can already be seen, HSBC Holdings plc said in a report on Wednesday, citing drought and typhoons. Asia is well positioned to deal with a strong El Nino due to price buffers, abundant reserves of key commodities, and subdued inflationary pressures, it said. Thai rice output from the main harvest starting in September may slump 14% to 23.3 million tons, the lowest since 2006. According to data from the Office of Agricultural Economics, the harvest accounts for about 70% of annual production in the world's top exporter. Drought this year is quite severe, said Supaporn Bongsunon, director at the Center for Agriculture Information. El Nino-induced dryness will lower yields and farmers may curb planting amid unattractive prices, she said. Pumps line a riverbank in Suphanburi province, but the military is limiting how much water the farmers can take. Wheat and palm. The pattern may boost palm prices to 2,500 ringgit a ton this year, according to Maud Imar Mavani Abdullah, Chief Executive Officer of Felda Global Ventures Holdings, BHD. The largest producer. Prices were at 2,189 ringgit on Wednesday, down 3.4% in 215 as investors weigh the weather outlook. In Australia, a classical El Nino pattern would risk reducing the wheat harvest to the smallest in 8 years. And that's from the National Australia Bank Limited said last month. Recently sown soybeans in India need rain this week, or farmers will need to replace them with lentils, according to V.S. Bhatia, Director of State-Owned Directorate of Soybeans Research. Dry weather has tempered optimism earlier this season, when rain prompted farmers to plant the oilseed almost a month earlier than in 2014. Rainfall between July 1 and July 12 was almost 30% below normal. Weather Bureau data shows below average rain may also affect the peanut crop in Gujarat, India's largest producer, according to K.K. Singh, head of agricultural meteorology at the Weather Bureau. Rains in July and August are crucial for the overall agricultural situation. Siddharth Kathari, an economist with Sunindi Securities and Finance Limited, said by phone from Mumbai on July 14. There will be impact on yields if rains fail, as sowing has already taken place. And now, today's vocabulary. Abundant, abundant, according to, account for, agricultural, agriculture, alter, amid, ample, analyst, annual, arrest, average, back to back, baking, boost, buffer, bureau, chief executive officer, CEO, chief executive officer, CEO, site, classical, commodity, critical, crop, crucial, curb, data, deal with, decades, decline, director, disrupt, disruption, drought, due to, El Nino, exporter, forecast, forecaster, global, grain, harvest, immediate, impact, index, induce, induce, inflation, inflation, investor, investor, key, key, linked, linked, meteorology, meteorology, monsoon, monsoon, normal, normal, optimism, optimism, outlook, outlook, output, output, overall, overall, pattern, pattern, pose, pose, predict, predict, pressure, pressure, producer, producer, production, production, prompted, prompted, recently, recently, record, record, reduce, reduce, refer, refer, replace, replace, reserve, reserve, ringgit, ringgit, risk, risk, sank, sank, season, season, severe, severe, shortfall, shortfall, situation, situation, slump, slump, sow, sow, sown, sown, soybean, soybean, spike, spike, staple, staple, subdued, subdued, supply, supply, take place, take place, temper, temper, trough, trough, typhoon, typhoon, unattractive, unattractive, way, way, well-positioned, well-positioned, worldwide, worldwide, yield, yield. That's today's story and vocabulary. You have a great day. I'll see you next time here on Break Time with Monte.